Well, hi everyone. Again, I'm back. Real Deal Around Town is back to provide mostly just updates. Gonna talk about some updates, excuse me, to some of the things I've already reported on. And you're probably wondering what happened with some of these stories. I'm gonna talk about the budget, I'm gonna talk about open meeting law stuff, and a couple of court cases that I've referred to you about. And we've had some twists and turns on all kinds of things. Let me start with the open meeting law because this is kind of interesting, and I want you to stick around. So I'm going to hold the other stuff until after I talk about the open meeting law. I promise I'll try to be brief for me. Brief for me is not all that brief all the time, but anyway. So I did this. I think my last full video was this Patrick Higgins thing. Well, he's still at it, of course, and the Attorney General did a couple more determinations on some of his work, and which of course it's a few months back, so it's back in July that I think he did these, and of course he hit up his hometown. He likes to pick on the town that he lives in, which is Swansea, and he hit them up pretty good. I think it was the Board of Selectmen, I think, got hit again. Um, but that's just it just goes with the territory, I guess. Everybody's sick of them, but they just got to deal with it and carry on. AGO's being nice to them, I think, but they're still making determinations. So there you have it. Now, I think what the shocking news in the open meeting law department for me, I don't have anything to report on Townsend, so that's good. Nothing's happening in those. Um, um, so I had said in the previous video that it's really rare for the attorney general to give a fine out to communities. Um, they did one recently to Wayland, and I brought that up with a warning to all communities in Massachusetts that this could happen to you if you're not careful. And and unfortunately, I think Wayland probably felt pretty left out or pretty isolated because they were the first one in a couple years that got fined for an open meeting law violation. Because you have to work at that. You have to work. You have to kind of not correct your errors, and you know that's what the fine where the fines come from. They only give fines on intentional violations of the open meeting law or things that are determined to be intentional, like you just didn't want to, you don't want to play. You know better than the attorney general, and you don't care about transparency. So Wayland is in the process of getting their fine. Well, today, I checked just for kicks. I checked the attorney general's page, and they did one determination today, and that was to the lovely town of Georgetown. Georgetown, Massachusetts, had a determination and a fine. A fine. And I could tell by reading the determination, I'm not going to go through it. I should. It's really bad, but I'm not going to do it. I know most of my subscribers don't want to watch all that. But they got hit with a fine. And that first fine is actually it's $400 because they hit them with two. So 200 each. Two intentional violations of the open meeting law. That's an ouch. They just basically blew off the complainant, the person who complained that filed the open meeting law complaints about meeting minutes, really. And it was executive session stuff. And they just didn't respond. Ah, screw you. We don't care. Just complain. Whatever. We're done. We're not playing. You can complain all day long. We're not giving you a response. And that's pretty much what happens. Well, they blew off the attorney general too. I think that there was some correspondence, but pretty much the attorney general feels pretty rejected by the town of Georgetown as well. And on top of that, it was a few months before that they had done the same thing. And that's where the real intentionality comes in. This was not their first rodeo this year. Multiple violations under the same type of incident, minutes. They just don't want to play. And it's what's interesting. I'm going to get to the interesting part. I'm not there yet. It's the Conservation Commission And I know our conservation commission is they're pretty good. They go through the steps. The chair's got it down, knows what to read, knows when to shut everybody up because you're going off topic. Brings it, nope. This Georgetown, nope, nope. The Conservation Commission. Now, the interesting part. Now we're getting to the interesting part. This is where the Townsend connection comes in. It's just a little tiny Townsend thing, but they have a conservation director. Georgetown's a little different than Townsend by a lot. They have a lot of differences. But they have a conservation director. We have an agent. I think we don't really have one. I think I'm in the process of hiring one. They might have even done it. I don't remember now. Or land use. I don't know. We kind of had a shortage of both. But Jessica was our conservation agent. Then she transferred to the. Anyway, I'm digressing. Sorry. But this woman, I'm going to say her name. Somebody's going to remember this name. Michelle Grenier. Michelle Grenier is the conservation director up at Georgetown. I don't know how long she's been up there, but I do know that not that long ago, about 6 years ago, Michelle Grenier was our land use coordinator. Yes, indeed. She's grown up and moved on to Georgetown and became the conservation director up there. And she just, I guess, doesn't think she needs to comply with the open meeting law. And the town of Georgetown, although they probably have the money to pay the fines, but they get expensive after this. If there's another complaint, it's going to be 1,000. And I don't know what happens after that. I don't know what they're going to do, but or who they're going to blame or whatever. Nobody goes to jail or anything, I don't think. But it's pretty bad. But I wanted to, when I was reading the determination and I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, this is something. This is really something. Conservation Commission, this is interesting. And I'm reading the list of names on who they were sending the determination to, and I saw this name and I said, that name sounds familiar. I think I know who that is. And I checked, I Googled, I searched for her name on the Townsend website. There it was. She wasn't here long. I don't remember the what the deal was when she left. I really don't remember. But all I remember is that she was our land use, and I don't think she was here very long. That's anyway. But for those of you that have worked in town hall for at least probably 5 years, the name probably rings a bell with you. But she's up in Georgetown causing trouble, so good for them. We need to hire, if we haven't already. I know that there's been something on the agenda. We're looking to fill all these positions. I think I know the Conservation Commission needs them anyway. But I wanted to bring that up. That's my update for open meeting law. That one, the Attorney General is getting pissed off, and they're really done with communities that don't give a crap about the open meeting law, and they are starting to come for you. They're not changing their rules, I don't think. I just think that they're not taking things for granted, and if you don't want to play, they're going to fine you. So that's just a warning from them. Just I'm telling you, the warning's there. They're not going to be tiptoeing through Massachusetts and just letting people get away with it. But you have to work at it. If you just continue to violate the open meeting law, they're not going to let you get away with it, and they will. They are giving out fines. This is the second one this year. The first one was recently. So this is the second one in just a few months or a month. When was the Wayland one? I have to look that up. But this one was today. Merry Christmas, town of Georgetown, or whichever holiday you're celebrating. Here's another one. Christmas present, $200. Oh, $400, sorry. Anyway. Okay, so that's that update. Now let me jump into Townsend budgetary woes. Okay, well, the selectmen did fix the deficit. Now, The last time I reported to you through my channel, I told you there was an $87,000 deficit. And it's like, okay. And they were going to fix it with ARPA money. There was some confusion. Veronica didn't know what fiscal year we were in, and she was not too happy. She wanted her projects funded through ARPA, and I was sweating it. Like, is she going to disrupt this whole thing? Well, she didn't. She settled down. Somebody talked to her and explained it all to her. Good. Thank you. Thank you, whoever did that. It was probably Nelson, because he was so shook up with the attack that he received on the two selectmen's meetings ago now. So, and that night that I was at the selectmen's meeting and they were going over this 87,000, or the announcement of the 87, that I nearly fell out of my chair. Nelson, was our town administrator, was also explaining that we had a shortage in the purple bag account, but he wasn't giving me anything. He wasn't going to tell me shit. He had, he had some estimates, but he didn't want to give me a number because he knew I was going to report on it. And I said, okay, I'll let you slide on this one. I think he was talking at that. He was thinking like 200,000, I think, but I didn't quote anything because I don't even know where I got that number. I think he slipped it at one point and then I forgot all about it. But anyway, it wasn't 200,000, it was 300,000. So the purple bag account was about $300,000 short. And I do have I did a public records and I got all the reports on each month. I'm going to, at some point, maybe in January, I'm going to do a big video on the trash, like my favorite topic. Not, but I've got all the reports, the monthly reports. Yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense that there's no way that we would know. It's just not enough time. It's just to know where we're at. And a lot is going on. So as far as the Department of Revenue, and that's where the shortage decisions come from. Because there was a basic accounting 101 problem. I'm sure the accountant knew it was coming, and she's got to be more stressed out than anybody in that town hall. That yeah, they were counting the first month and the last month of the of the trash use thing, and when they were explaining it, that I think whatever meeting it was, but when they were explaining why we had the shortage, why DOR wasn't allowing the count, once they said that, I knew exactly what they were talking about. You can't count the last month of revenue from selling something, anything. I don't care what you're selling, because you're not going to actually realize the revenue until the following month, which would be a different fiscal year. So you can't, here in government stuff, we can't do accounts receivables. We can't say in May or in June of next year, that when the fiscal year starts in July, that we're going to count the revenue we're going to get next month, because you don't know if you're really going to get it. So they can't count that. So they were counting that June revenue as part of the revenue estimate. It's not going to be in this fiscal year, so wrong. And then they were counting October, again, wrong, because October's revenue was actually coming from the previous month in the sale of purple bags that also included overflow bags, because I know it's to those of us that are putting trash in those purple bags, it doesn't matter to us what you want to call them. It's all the same, but it's not. So DOR wouldn't let us do that. So we're just left with November. It was the only month they knew what the revenue is. Even then, they didn't know. They didn't even know. They had some October numbers. There was no real comfortable number that anybody could come up with on how much money we're receiving on purple bags. But what they did, because we had this deficit they had to plug in by next week, or we wouldn't be setting a tax rate, and DOR would actually be down here, moving in with us. Um, they played a shell game with the ARPA money, and that's okay. They didn't do anything wrong, but what they did is they kicked the can down the road into next fiscal year. Um, as far as we're starting off with a deficit for next year, I know it's not exactly that, uh, and just in generally speaking, I'm referring to it as a deficit. It kind of is because the monies that they were going to use ARPA for now they can't because they just moved the money around. So it's good luck to these. I mean, and now that Teresa's gone, it's going to be Veronica Kell and Laura Schifrin. They have to come up with a solution, and they have to get along. I mean, I think if it weren't for their positions as select board members, they probably are friends outside. I don't know, but they can't do it outside. They have to do this on camera, and it's going to be an interesting few months as we approach town meeting. And of course, I will be there watching and trying to report on everything I can. Okay, my next update. I'm going to insert a little bit about the school committee stuff or the North Middlesex Regional School District. They're having some difficulties talking to one another as well. The superintendent probably thought he had this. He had some consensus, and I think it's all politics. I really think it's nothing but politics on the school committee members. I think they're just responding to their constituents at this early stage, although it's not too early. They have to get moving on their decisions. If a lot of them won't get reelected, but you know what? Who cares? And I mean that friendly. I mean that nicely. Like, just fix this problem. I mean, there's not enough money, and it's not their fault. It's not the school's fault. And everybody just stop talking that they're all greedy and the superintendent's making too much money. Don't even go there because that's not the problem. The problem is multi-level, and it's mostly the biggest problem is the formula that the state uses to give us money, or the decision that the state doesn't want to give districts money. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but it's not the school's fault. Okay. The towns need to, all the towns need to make allowances in their own budget because all of us do, because the schools are an important part of it. But that's my soapbox. I know some of you get mad, but I was in favor of the override last year or this past year, and I'm not I don't think I am this time because we can't keep doing it this way. I don't know. I don't know what to say, but we can't keep doing it. But maybe I should be in favor of an override for that very reason. But anyway, the superintendent and the school committee are kind of battling it out, and the superintendent's made a presentation at their last meeting, which was way back on December 3rd, that he wants to close 2 schools. Spalding. Yeah, Spalding's one of them. And the other one is Ashby Elementary, which will shut down Ashby altogether. Every single kid in Ashby will be on a bus, and most of them are going to be going to Pepperell. Our kids are going to go to Pepperell also. But you have to figure Pepperell's the biggest community out of the 3 of us. And I think it's really, unfortunately, I like this plan. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate that the plan has to be there altogether. But one, we don't have. It's kind of. It's not that we don't have the kids. Actually, it's complicated. I'm not going to get into a number of children at each grade. I can dig that up if you want, but I'm not. I don't really want to. That's available on the internet, even if without a public records request. So, as much as that'll piss people off, it's certainly it's viable, it's doable, and it'll cut most of the deficit problem that exists. Not entirely, but most of it. The alternative is he said that he'd have to cut over $2 million, and he'll have to do it in teacher salaries. In other words, how many teachers is that? That's a lot of teachers. I mean, let's say $100,000 a teacher. It's more than that. So 100,000 times 2 million. That's 20 teachers. 20 teachers, or thereabout. It might be 19, 20 teachers. You can't cut that many. What are you going to double up class? The next thing we're going to, how in some universities, when you're in college, I never had to do, well, I did for some of my classes, actually, even at state schools. Sometimes they did that to me in Fitchburg for a couple classes. Put you in an auditorium, and there's like multiple classes on some of these elective things. You don't, there's not much interaction with faculty. They're just lecturing and sometimes showing pictures. I would fall asleep on. I did a class I really liked. I remember falling asleep in the auditorium. But anyway, as I'm digressing, but can you imagine putting first graders in an auditorium and saying you're going to have to just listen, take notes? I mean, that's what we'd end up doing with a couple hundred kids in first, second, third grade in an auditorium and saying, just take notes. This is a lecture. You just have to sit there because we only have one teacher. So 200 of you are going to sit there and we're just going to lecture you. And first grade, sit there, just take notes. Can you see that? I can't. No, because you can't just get rid of the teachers and put them in a classroom without them, or put so many kids. Can you see would you do it? Hello, parents. Would you want to be alone in a classroom with 40 kids of your children's age? 40 other friends, have them all over. Have a party and invite 40 of them with no other adults, just the kids. Don't say that, well, teachers are trained to do that. No, they're not. That is insanity. And you got to teach the kids something, and the kids will just run the universe. And it's not their fault. They're kids being kids. But they can't lay off 20 teachers. The other 20, no, there's more than 40 teachers. The rest of them will quit, and they'll just go into some other line of work. They could probably drive a school bus and make more money. I'm kidding. That's not even funny. That's a guaranteed job. Plenty of school bus driver jobs. Anyway, unfortunately, the closing of the schools works. That doesn't mean the schools are gone and we're going to sell them off and put multi-family apartments in there. The schools would still be owned by the schools, and they just to run them is part of the biggest. It's expensive to run a building, of not just run a building, but run it as a school. You need a whole bunch of administrators on top of each of those classrooms. So putting everybody in Pepperell, is it Varnum Brook? I can't keep track on the schools, but half those kids will go over there, or most of them. They're split up a couple other things. I think I love it's on their school committee meeting from December 3rd is got it all in there. The but it makes sense. It makes sense to me, and I hope the school committee members will come around. The school committee members were, making statements about, oh, there must be another way. This is hard on Ashby. Agreed. I don't think anybody's going to argue that this is tough on Ashby. It's unfortunate they got into a district with us, and it's not our fault. It's not Pepperell's fault. It's nobody's fault. It's just Ashby's a small community, and they never probably had the big infrastructure schools that even the other two towns had in the past. And the high school ended up in Townsend, basically kind of in the middle. So wouldn't make sense to build a high school in Ashby for Pepperell. You know what I'm saying? But now, and I think in the future, if the towns grow and the state figures out the formula a little bit better, then we still have the buildings that we can reinstitute. And I think there's a little quirk thing with Squanicook. We'll get some more activity. I can't remember. what's going on with that one. But it's on the school committee meeting. Um, so I also quickly want to talk about. I'm going to call it. So you want to watch a school committee meeting, do you? I'm going to show you how. I'm going to tell you how. I don't have it. Do I have it ready? I do. Can I bring it up? I wonder if I can bring it up. I'm going to try. Let's see. I forgot. I'm going to bring something up. I'm not going to show. We're not going to play the meeting. Let's see. I wish I had. Oh, I can do it. I can do it. Sorry, I wasn't planning on doing, but I'm going to do this anyway because I had it ready to go because I was going to do this the other day. Let me do a share screen. Okay. Okay. Let me see. Am I? Hey, there we are. Hold on. What am I looking at? Special. I don't know. Whatever. Okay. What you're looking at there is the Pepperell Community Media. In fact, I'm going to take myself out of the picture so you get a bigger screen. This is the public access channel or website for Pepperell. They have two public access channels, 192 and 194, on their TVs, on their cable. If they have cable, which they have through Spectrum or Charter, whatever the name they go by, they those are the channels. But they also have the Pepperell Community Media website, which you can live in Townsend or Ashby or anywhere and watch whatever's going on in Pepperell. All their meetings. That's what I was straining my eyes to look at. This is the select board in the corner here. Then they have, let's see, they have all these channels. They have schedules, video on demand, public service announcements. You can watch all kinds of things that have been going on. They have different follow-ups. They had a, I guess, special town meeting. I don't know when that was, but there's I don't pay enough attention to what's going on over there. We probably should pay more attention. They're right next door. I'm sure they could care less what we're doing too. Anyways, then I think it's if you're gonna watch something live, you have to figure out which button to push, and I don't remember which one it is. There's on demand. There's public stream, government stream. Oh, okay. 194 is probably public stream. Is probably other things that are not town government. 192 is probably government. I'm not pushing all these buttons just to find out because it'll throw us off. So let me see. All right, I'm going to get these people out of here. All right, so that's the channel. Oh, so if you want to watch after the fact, like right now, you can watch if you go on video on demand, you could watch the school committee meeting from December 3rd on video on demand on the Pepperell channel. You can watch it live on probably the government access channel, or it could be public. You can find it. If you go to this page, which is pepperellchannel.org, pepperellchannel.org, you can get to this and all of that. And then you could find when the school committee's live. Okay, so I'm going to get this thing out of here. I'm going to first just bring me back up, and then I got to shut this down. Stop screen. Now I'm going to bring up Cactus. That's what it's called. Anyway, this is the school committee meeting from December 3rd. And there it is. School committee meeting. You can see it's right below Brad is the school committee meeting widget here. And that is where it is. They got all these other things that are under video on demand. These are meetings that were live, but they're not anymore. And so you can watch it there whenever you want. You don't have to wait for it. If you're a Channel 9 person, um, I have to tell you, most people in both towns, neither one of the two towns have cable anymore. I mean, about half the town, maybe, in each of the towns, um, still have cable. Most people have stopped using cable. And if you're watching Channel 9, you got to wait for it to come up on the schedule. You never have to do that even in Townsend, because the town of Townsend has their own YouTube channel as well. And you can go find whatever meeting you're looking for there. Or you can, I, I haven't found it, I haven't found the time to do the school committee meetings, so I haven't done that yet. But you can always watch them at, on the Pepperell side of the house. Live, they do the school committee meetings. And then if you want to, I'm not going to bring it to their website. I don't think I have it up anywhere that I could find it. I'll be zipping through. I'll be zipping through a whole bunch of websites, and you don't want to follow me doing that. But you can go to the North Middlesex Regional School District, NMRSD.org. You can get to their website, and then you can find the school committee meeting schedule, the calendar. They have a couple coming up that are already posted on their agenda, not until January. I want to say January 6th, but I didn't look today, so I don't know. But you can find the school committee meetings, and then you can, it said it'll be on some kind of, the next meeting is going to be virtual, but I don't know if you'll be able to watch it on the Purple channel. I think you can. Not sure. Or I think you can zoom in. I think you might have to register, but I'm not sure. See, I'm not sure. This is no, I'm going to find out, but you can too. You don't have to depend on me. You can do this on your own. So, so you can, so if you want to know in advance, they don't post, they don't have to, there's no requirement for the school district to post their meetings on somebody else's website. They don't, they do their own. And then if somebody wants to put it up on our website, they can, but you can't make them. It's up to the webmaster, up to whoever has time to chase down the school committee. They don't have a legal requirement to post in our town. Or whatever. Just watch it if you're interested. Or you can, no, we didn't post the school committee. It was just like in the last week that TCAM got around to putting the school committee meeting up on our side of the house. And it was 2 weeks after the meeting happened. So you might as well, if you want to see it, watch it on Pepperell. All right, the next update. Court cases, lawsuits, etc. That would be, there's 2 court cases I was reporting on. One is the purple bags, the small claims by Mr. Tom Daly, I think his name was, or is. He filed the small claims. I didn't check it today, but I checked it the other day, and there's no activity. It seems, I'm going to assume that nothing happened on this court date that they had, which was the 12th, I think. No. Yes, it was the 12th. Sorry. That was a busy day because we had all kinds of meetings. Both Tad Rochette and the purple bag case was on the same day. I didn't go to the court at all. And I tried, did I zoom in? I don't know. I was busy. And I went to, I went to the selectmen's meeting. I had a very busy day that day. But anyway, nothing happened. I don't even know it. I think that they have to get it continued, but it hasn't been continued yet. Or it's just going to get dropped. I don't know which, but I don't think anybody no-showed. I'm sure that, I have a feeling I know what happened, and I'm not going to get into it, but it's nothing bad, or it's nothing bad for the case, and it's nothing bad for the people. It just, I think I know. And, but it's kind of personal for somebody. And but if the case is still going to continue, they'll just set another date and I'll know. But I'm really, to be honest, I mean, I'm reporting on it, but it's not going anywhere. It's just, it's going to end up being dismissed. It has no merit to it. And for all the reasons I explained it on my original video, In fact, I will be putting everything I'm talking about. I think most of the things, the previous videos that I'm referring to, you don't have to go searching later. I'm going to maybe later put the video links in the description on this video so you'll know what other videos I'm updating you on. So that one's done. Tad Rochette. I warned you all it was going to get continued. It did. That would be a good plan for Tad to do. Just keep, as long as the court will let him continue it, continue it, buddy, because if you lose this case, you lose your retirement. But in the meantime, they're paying him. So he just wants continuation, yeah. And his lawyer would probably advise him of that. But they can't. The lawyer will get in trouble if he kicks it down the road too far. But there's reason. This has got a lot to it, and this is really his income for the rest of his life that's on the line here. So I don't blame him at all for continuing, or even really legitimately not being funny about this, but legitimately taking all the time that you need to get whatever evidence you need to convince the court that this is just overreach and they shouldn't take his pension. And speaking of that, let me see, where am I? I'm gonna see something on my channel. Let's see. I did a poll. Do you remember the poll? Okay, I did a poll. Wonder if I can I bring this up? I don't know. Oh, I got too many windows open. All right. I'm going to read the poll. I recently shared the video about retired Townsend police officer Tad Rochette fighting to keep his pension after being convicted of impersonating an officer. After watching that video, do you think he should keep his pension or lose it? 83% thought he should lose it, and with 6 votes total, not 6 votes there, total of 6 people voted. Tad Rochette should lose his pension, 83%. Tad Rochette should keep his pension, 17%. I don't know how many people on each one. I could do the math. I don't feel like it though. So, well, it's probably 4-2, right? Or I don't know. I don't know. I'm not doing it. I should know. I should be able to do that math. Anyway, so most people, but everybody does not want him to lose his pension. And it's kind of a mixed, I have mixed feelings because, okay, he screwed up. He got arrested. He got charged with all kinds of terrible things. Then he got everything else dismissed, even at weapons charges. They dismissed everything except impersonating an officer. It wasn't a pretty picture for him. Without even thinking that his pension was on the table. And he did serve somewhere around 30 years as a cop. And I know people have people have things to say about his service, but nobody fired him. He was there all that time, regardless of how many complaints people made. They didn't get rid of him. So should they take his pension now? I mean, or the state law is very clear. He should lose his pension. Whoopsie. I don't know. We'll have to see how this plays out. I don't want to say with absolute conviction on how I feel because I don't know. I feel I'm in the middle of the road on this. I'm not quite sure what to say about all this situation for him. I know. I know what it's like when some things can really pull the rug out from under you, and you gotta pick yourself up somehow and figure out what you're going to do next. And having, this is a big ask to lose his pension. That's a lot, especially when you're in your 60s. And in his court filings, he has health issues. You're not going to get another job and get another retirement when you're already in your 60s. It's not happening. So, anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on it. We'll probably be talking about it some more later. So I think that's all I have. Um, there's probably more things I could update, but those are the big updates that I think that people that have been following my channel diligently know that I've got these videos out there and I talked about these things. I'm going to be doing another. I got a second piece of I did a short video on an accident that was up the street, and I forgot. I took a second video. I'm gonna I'm gonna do a video that includes both of them because people like watching cops and accidents and things. So I will give you another one. Same accident, but I'll add another piece to it. Nothing exciting. It's pretty boring as far as they go. It's a boring video, but I'll do that one later or tomorrow or something. I think that's all that's going on. I mean, there's more going on, but we'll just have to deal with that. And I just wish the town would figure out their budget because it's not good. It's just too tight. We are getting 500,000 in free cash, so they can spend it unwise, inappropriately. Should all go on stabilization and screw everybody. Anyway, that's it. I'm not going to go any farther. I'm going to end this video, and I want to thank everybody for watching. And like I always ask, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. If you want to get notified of my videos when they come out, hit the notification bell, and you will get notified as soon as a video is released. Also, I would really appreciate likes. If you like my video, hit the like button. It would even, don't, try to hit it's support. YouTube creators really like the like button. And please comment. I do read all the comments, and I either I respond in one way or another. I read it. You should know I read it. I'll like it or something, or I'll make a comment. Sometimes I comment back. And you could share these videos with your friends. There's a share button down below somewhere. It looks like a reply button, I think. I'm not on the channel right now. Anyway, I'm on StreamYard. Anyway, doing the video. So that's all I have. But do watch my videos. I really appreciate it, and I do appreciate the feedback that I get. And if you have things you want me to talk about, report on, leave a message in the comments, and I will try to figure out if sometimes you might, if you have a question or if you think something's going on, let me know and I'll try to follow up. I do pay attention to all the town official meetings, so sometimes I know a lot of things that are going on, and I do public records requests all the time, and I'm looking at all kinds of things and trying to not necessarily look for problems, but because I want I try to say, what are they talking about, and I want to follow up on things. And so sometimes I have a lot of information in this head of mine, and I would like to share as much of it as I can. So if there's things you're interested in, I might be ready I could do a video right away almost. But let me know. And so I will end your pain now, end the video, and I'll catch you on the next one. There will be another video. I promise. Okay. Have a good one. Take care. Next video. Bye-bye.